Eclipse here, ready for session 2. So last week I uploaded a video about how to help your horse relax under pressure, and that was the very beginning of that process that will eventually help our horses when we're under saddle. What I want to show you today, it's literally now a week later. I've had 6 sessions since that video was posted, and what we're now starting to do is get him to really relax when he feels the most uncomfortable. It's the exact same principle of what was established in the previous video, but now we're starting to step into where he's having what people call problems. So Eclipse actually came to me, he's had about 15 rides under saddle, and he was bucking inconsistently, and the owner made a really good call. He's been out spelling, and he's come to me to see if we can help tackle that problem. Now, the first thing that Eclipse needs to deal with before I can even think about getting on is just relaxing so he can actually concentrate on what I'm asking. So I thought this would be a really good opportunity to show you what the extension is of getting him to lower his head just when we're swinging the rope, because it applies to everything, and as we go forward in our training, it becomes the one tool he has to help him get through anything that makes him uncomfortable. Because the whole end aim is that we don't want him to worry about the cars starting over there, motorbikes coming past, whatever might be deemed scary. We just want him concentrating on me and what I'm asking him to do. Alright, hope you enjoy. Here we go. So you'll see the difference as soon as I even move the mounting block. We've been working through this a couple of times, but I really want you to pay attention to his body language, what changes happen, and what I keep doing to then have another change, a much more relaxed change occur. We set you up. Be so calm and gentle as to not scare him. It's not that I want to scare him, but there's no point me moving so cautiously, because that's not what's going to happen in the real world. In the real world, I'm going to throw the saddle on, I'm going to slap stable doors. Now you can see, even if you need to rewind a little bit, just when I came up here, he hasn't moved away, but he did shift to the right a little bit. That's how much attention we have to be changing. Good boy. No, that's how much attention we need to be paying. Good boy. So we've been working on this for a week. The first time I got up here, he backed up, he snorted straight away. Could not do this whatsoever. And so all I'm going to do is kind of do the revision of the last couple of days. And I'm just going to keep going until he lowers his head, until he finds that sweet little spot that we've been working on now for about 2 weeks. So I'm going to exaggerate the correct response. Yes, he's come down to sniff my boots. I'm not fussed about that at the moment. Anything that looks like the end result of what I'm wanting is what I'm going to reward. So you can see there, when he's come back up, his head hasn't come back up here. It has now, because he's still a bit funny with his ears. that's for another day. So I really want you paying attention, like in that first video, he holds so much tension in his neck. I want you to really pay attention to what happens when he drops it and each time it raises. Because that's the horse telling you how relaxed or how stressed he is. I don't force him to focus back on me. The only way he's going to get rid of what I'm doing and release the pressure is to drop his head. The external factors are completely irrelevant. All the horse has to focus on, and in turn all we have to worry about, is what we're asking. If I release at any time, at the point that he's not doing the one thing I want to do, my pressure and release cues become completely irrelevant. Completely. Good boy. Good boy. And so you can see there, that's a perfect example. His head's come back up to have a look, but he hasn't really stretched and held himself here. He's just having a look. There's so much going on outside. I don't want him to think that he can't look, but he does have to pay attention. Good boy. Because now what I want to do, because the whole aim, it's going to be in a few weeks. Just because he starts to go well doesn't mean I suddenly decide that I can get on. But I need to start shaping the lessons with more pressure, because the more uncomfortable he feels, I want him to feel so reliable in his own decisions that when he's at his most comfortable, the only thing that comes to mind is, oh, I know how to make this better. It's to breathe. So what we're going to do, don't want to make things too gentle. I need to be able to crawl around. I need to be able to make noise. Good boy. If I sneak around trying to not disrupt him, he doesn't learn how to cope with anything. Good boy. His best view. We should be able to crawl around. We shouldn't be having to sneak. If we're having to sneak because we're scared to scare them, your horse hasn't got any coping mechanisms in place. Just let the exciting factor happen over there, which is manure going into a bin. But it's about reading your situation. He's learning. He's in the process of learning how to make himself feel better. I don't expect him to be able to nail it every single time. We're practicing. All I want him to do is to understand over and over and over and over again that he can make himself feel so much better. Good boy. So all I'm going to do, ultimately the aim is just going to be to lean over him. His neck will come up, and all I want to do is stay there until he can actually breathe and lower his head. If he happens to walk, well, great, but It's the same thing. I will then just wait until he stops walking. Good boy. So before I get on, good boy, I'm going to rub because that's going to emulate more the action of my arms and my body, because I'm not going to get on and pat, pat, pat. Okay. Come a little bit more forward. Good boy. So it's nothing crazy, any of these. It's all just about breaking things down. Now, obviously when I spoke to the owner about him coming here, she told me things that were going on. Good boy. But you can really predict, good boy, what a horse is going to do by listening and paying attention to what they're giving you on the ground. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. It's not that he's nasty. It's not that he doesn't like something. It's that he doesn't understand. And it's up to us to work out what he doesn't understand. Okay? Now when we get on, a horse that wants to leave the mounting block already isn't comfortable. He's trying to get away. So this whole process that I'm going through is just about getting him to relax. I'm not actually asking anything of him. I just want him to stand here and be present. And the exact same applies when I get on. I'm not asking him to do anything. So when he takes those couple of steps, I'm not going to ask him to stop. I'm not going to ask him to turn. All I'm going to wait for is for him to come into this relaxed position. That's the only thing I'm going to wait for, because that's the only thing I need him to find at the moment. Even if you are a bit slippery and a bit clean. Good boy. So again, just try and pay attention. Good boy. It's more his neck position. Good boy. Which, because him and my jump are a bit slippery, unfortunately I kind of came off at the wrong time. Doesn't matter. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. So now I go back, and because he's a very good illustration horse, he's left the mounting area. So it's my job now to get him comfortable again. I've increased the pressure by wanting to get on. And now I go back. He's telling me that it's too much. And I go, okay. And I come back. You can step away. My arms aren't that long, but I don't want to stop putting this pressure on, good boy, until he drops his head. I need to now say, hey, remember what we were doing before? It's the exact same thing. Good boy. And so you can see, because I up the pressure of just wanting to lay across him, his tensions come back up, which is fine. To me, it just means we get to practice more, because he's going to have to do this over and over and over again in all sorts of different spots. We'll take him out to the car park, we'll take him out to the arena, we'll do it in his paddock, because he needs to be so secure in his abilities to relax before I can think about putting a saddle on, putting both legs over. No. And so when they're doing something really well and you get a change and you perceive it as a change for the worse, just think of it as an opportunity to actually really go over it again. Good boy. Because it's going to take weeks before I can crawl over and do everything. But all I want to do is get him in this position right here as much as possible, because that's the only thing he needs to be able to listen to me and what I'm asking. Try again. Are you nice and this relaxed? So see how as soon as he's okay when I'm like this, as soon as I come back up here it's too much. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to let him step out. Of course I can reach. I'm going to keep this arm going. Good boy. Until he comes back down. We have to let our horses make the mistake. Because if we don't let them make the mistake, they don't get to find out how good the relaxed posture is. There's so much going on today. Alright, I'm going to leave that there because I don't like these videos to be too long, but I did want to show you kind of where we're up to and expand on last week's videos. Any questions, let me know, always happy to answer them, and maybe not next week, we might go for a 2-week break. We'll come back to you and we'll show you where Eclipse and I are up to. See you next time, guys.